Hi, I'm Amanda Keys, and I'm going to take us through a flow that will be great for maybe after a travel day when you need to open your hips a little bit more, lift your shoulders back, wherever it meets you. It doesn't even need to be a travel day, but with that, we're going to get started in child's pose. So taking your knees out to the width of the mat, and just allow your hips to go back towards your heels. And then slowly take the upper body down towards the mat, down towards the earth. And allow your forehead to come in contact with the mat if possible. And soften your breath. And let your forearms just melt into the mat. Option to take the fingertips out long. And then let them collapse down to the mat. Again, take the fingertips out long into active child's pose. Feel the stretch in the back of the shoulder blades. Option to reach one fingertip further than the other. Maybe drag the opposite hip back. And relax. And then pressing yourself up into a tabletop position. So stacking shoulders over wrists and hips over knees, and allow the tops of the feet to just relax into the mat. Gaze straight down between the hands. And then take a deep inhale, hammock the belly. Draw the crown of the head back towards the tail into cow pose. Exhale, cat. Draw chin into chest, gaze towards the navel. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Coming into Ujjayi breath, so deep full body inhales and exhales through the nose, making that ocean wave sound in the back of the throat. Taking any organic movements that your body may need. And moving with your breath. And then coming to stillness, extend your right foot straight back behind you, pressing through the heel like you're closing a door with your foot. And then spread the toes wide. Left hand reaches forward, fingertips spread wide. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl elbow into knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, lengthen. And then draw heel to seat. Left hand reaches around for the right foot. Gaze out over the left shoulder. Actively pressing the foot into the palm. Then take everything out long. Hand and knee come back down to the mat. Inhale to cow pose. And then exhale to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And switching sides, extend the left foot straight back behind you. Right hand reaches long. Inhale, fill up. Spread the shoulder blades. Exhale, crunch elbow into knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, lengthen. Draw heel to seat. Right hand reaches around for the left foot. Gaze out over the right shoulder and actively pressing the palm into the hand. The foot into the hand. And then gently release without slingshotting the foot. Hand and foot go back out long. And then knee and hand back down to the mat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. coming to a neutral spine, curl the toes under and just allow your knees to hover an inch or so off of the mat, coming through beast pose. So we won't stay here long, but just putting a little fire in our core. Strengthening all the way down the spine. Deep inhale, fill up. Exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Allow the head to hang heavy, maybe shake it one side to the other. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, melt the heels. Inhale, tippy toes. And then let the heels come down. And then slowly just begin to walk your feet up to your hands. Inhale to a halfway lift. Crown of the head reaches forward. Core is pulled in tight. Creating this number 7 with your body. Exhale, melt forward. Inhale, sweep it to the top, using all your space, watching the palms touch. Exhale, you cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, take it up. And then exhale, you swan dive back down, leading with the chest, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, as you plant the hands, step it back, high to low plank. Option to come down to your knees for this, and then pull it through upward facing dog, wide chest, open heart. Only the tops of the feet are on the mat. Exhale, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Yes. Inhale the right foot up in the air, bend the knee, open, stack the hips, and draw a huge circle in the sky, one direction, and then reverse. And then lower the foot back down to the mat. Lift the left foot up in the air, bend the knee, open, stack the hips, and draw that big circle again. And reverse. And then lower the left foot back down to the mat. Gaze between the hands, walk up to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it to the top, palms touch. Exhale, as you melt through heart center, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, as you plant the hands, step it back, high to low plank. Pulling it through, upward facing dog. Shift the hips, up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. Energetically lifting the hips up to the sky. Gaze between the hands, walk or float, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. So sweeping the arms overhead, turn pinkies in and thumbs out. Option to come up onto the tippy toes and sink. If you have a little tension in your shoulders, bringing hands to heart center and sink. Option to lower the heels and then shift the weight over into the right foot. Draw the left knee into the chest, and we're coming into figure 4. So take the left ankle across the right knee and sink the hips low. Opening up this left hip. And you might even want to put a little bit of pressure on that left knee. And then coming back upright, left knee into your chest. Lower the left foot down. Take it back into chair pose. And then hands at heart center, shifting the weight over into the left foot. Right knee comes into the chest, and then take the right ankle over across the left knee and sink the hips into figure 4. Actively pressing that right knee down, maybe even using your hand if that feels good. Grounding down through all 4 corners of the left foot. And then gently coming back upright, hands at heart center, right knee to chest, and place the right foot back down on the mat. And then inhale, sweep it up, chair pose. Option to come up onto the tippy toes again. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you plant the hands, step it back, high to low plank, pulling it through upward facing dog. Shift the hips, up and back, downward facing dog. Nice. Gaze between the hands, walk or float, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep it to the top, palms touch. And then as you exhale, hands at heart center, sink it into chair. Shifting the weight over into the left foot. Draw right knee into chest. Take it across the right ankle across the left knee. Sinking it into figure four one more time. Grounding down through all four corners of the left foot. And then gently release, coming up, right knee into chest. Set the foot down, take it back up, chair pose. Gaze is straight out in front of you. Option to come up onto the tippy toes. Lower the heels, hands at heart center. Shifting the weight over into the right foot, left knee comes into chest, taking left ankle across the right knee and sink it low. Left knee comes back into chest, placing the foot back down, taking it back into your chair pose. Option to have hands overhead or hands at heart center. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you step it back, high plank, holding it here in high plank. Float the right foot up in the air. Draw right knee, right elbow, crunch it in. Take it across the body to the left, back to the right, back to a hover, lower it down. Left foot floats in the air. Draw left knee, left elbow. Cross the body to the right elbow, back to the left, and then take it back to a hover, lower it down, holding it here in high plank. Feeling strength in a straight line all the way from the crown of your head to your heels. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, shift the hips, up and back, downward facing dog. Gaze between the hands, walk up to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep it to the top. And then pull hands down to heart center. So coming into tree pose, I'm going to face you. So we're going to shift the weight over into the right foot, hands at heart center, and then allow the left foot just to float off the ground. And then option to take your foot, use it as a kickstand, take it inside your calf or inside your thigh, just avoiding the knee area. And set your gaze on a fixed spot out in front of you, grounding down through all four corners of the right foot. Core is pulled in tight. And then grow your branches when you're ready. And then carefully bringing hands to heart center, left knee into chest, and then placing the left foot back down on the mat. Switching sides, grounding down to the left foot, right foot floats up in the air, and mirroring what you did on the first side. Hands start at heart center, and then option to take a variation in your pose. If you come out, come right back in. And then gently release. Hands at heart center, right knee comes into chest. Lower the right foot down. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Fill up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart, gaze up. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, melt through heart center. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, as you plant the hands, step it back. High to low plank. Upward facing dog. Shift the hips. Up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right foot up in the air. Step the right foot outside the right palm. Lower the back left knee and tuck the toes. Coming into lizard lunge, so option to stay here or lower down onto your forearms, just finding your best stretch. And then palms come into the mat and begin to heel toe the right ankle behind the left wrist and lower the right knee down behind the right wrist. And maybe scooching back your left foot just a little bit more. Tint up the fingers, puff up the chest, fill up. Exhale, melt over your right shin and find rest. Bringing palms into the mat, tint up the fingers, puff up the chest, stay for a breath. And then tuck the back left toes, lift the left knee, swing the right foot up and back behind you, three-legged down dog. And then lower the right foot back down to the mat. Inhale the left foot up in the air. And then step the left foot outside the left palm, lower the back right knee, untuck the toes. And again, mirroring what you did on the first side, option to lower down onto the forearms. Into lizard lunge, just finding your best stretch. Option to roll onto the outer edge of the foot. Whatever feels nourishing. And then bringing the palms into the mat, begin to heel toe the left foot behind the right wrist and lower the left knee down behind the left wrist. Maybe scooching back the right leg just a little bit more. Tint up the fingers, puff up the chest, fill up. And then as you exhale, melt over the left shin and find rest. Notice the difference from one side to the other. Bringing palms into the mat, lifting up the chest, tint up the fingers, take a deep inhale, open mouth side out, let it go. Tucking the back right toes, lifting the right knee, swing your left foot up and back behind you, three-legged down dog, and then lowering the left foot back down to the mat. And then gently lowering both knees down to the mat, crossing the ankles, come into a seat in the center of the mat. Toes flex back towards your shins. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, lengthen. Exhale, reach past the toes. And soften into it. Gently release. And then reach the fingertips forward. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and then one vertebrae at a time, lower down until you are completely flat on your mat. And when you get there, hug the knees into the chest, maybe rock side to side. And then extend the left leg long, right knee stays hugged in. And then guide the right knee across the body towards the left, teeing out the right arm, gazing out over the right shoulder into supine twist. Coming back to center, hug both knees in tight. Right leg goes long, left knee's hugged in. Guide the right knee across the body to the left knee across the body to the right, teeing out the left arm, gazing out over the left shoulder. Then coming back center, hug both knees in tight. Curl everything into a tight ball, forehead up to the knees, tight, tight, tight. And then as you exhale, take everything out long into a good morning stretch, maybe even yawn. Arms go overhead. And then as you settle, take the arms down by your sides, palms face up, setting up for a final resting pose, Shavasana. Allow the feet to splay open. Soften the space between your forehead. Release the tension between your eyes. Allow your body to be so heavy that it leaves an indentation on the earth. Is there any place that you can soften just a little bit more? Just allow your breath to be. Stay here for as long as you like. If you want to move on with your day, begin to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes, bringing movement back to the body. Take the right arm overhead, rolling over onto the right side, using your bicep as a pillow, drawing the knees up towards the chest. And then gently pressing yourself up to a seated cross-legged position. Allowing the eyes to stay shut down. Hands resting on the thighs. Let's take a deep inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, let them fall. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and presence with me on the mat today. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in each of you. Namaste. Great work.